Hello, everybody. Welcome to Perspective Nation. Today, we are going to be having a topic. What is special about Black women's hair? We're going to try to learn what Black women go through with their hair. The aim of this is to spark a conversation within our community and within other communities so that people are educated about the Black woman's hair. We have Winnefred, which I will definitely be referring as Winnie. She is the founder of a hair salon in 4800 Shepherd Avenue East in Toronto. And we also have Grace Azanu. She's also a founder of a business, and her Instagram page is at Azanu Hair Designs. So before I take the risk of introducing you, I'm going to start with Winnie. Please introduce yourself. Tell us more about who you are and your business. And after that, Grace will do the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing me or give me the opportunity to present more about hair, and especially our Black hair and the different natures and maintenance types of Black hair. So my name is Winnefred Bobmia. I migrated to Canada 2013. I'm from Cameroon, a mother of 3 and a husband. So I literally love doing hair right from back home. And when I came to Canada, I decided to go to hair school, which is called Marker College. It's in Danforth. Very renowned school. I always recommend people to go there. And after going to that school for 8 months, you have to do your license certification or apprenticeship for 2 years or a year, and then you go to your license exam. So that being said, that's just how the business came about. It's an industry that is profiting, an industry that you never go wrong because, as you know, our hair is part of our beauty. You know, without your hair looking good, you'll not feel good. So that is all about me and the business. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I think it's an honor for Perspective Nation to have a specialist like you with your quality and your education to come and volunteer for us. Grace, please tell us about also yourself as well as your business.
I will start by thanking everybody who is here with us today, this evening. And I will also use this opportunity to apologize that you probably have to have some difficulties maybe hearing me because I'm still at work, and working with children sometimes is hard. So no matter how you try to control the noise, sometimes they are a little bit loud. So
that's fine. That's fine. We do understand. We do thank you. We have to appreciate you even taking the time to do this for us.
Yes. So Mr. Fonge, I want to thank you also for giving me the opportunity to talk about what I love doing so much. Hair is something that I started right from home, but if someone had told me in the beginning that if I come to this part of the world, I'm going to live based on hair, I would say you're lying. I was just doing as a hobby and love to do my friend would do my hair just like that. But when I came into this part of the world, after I started having kids, it was difficult for me to really, it's hard for you, you know, to have a job where you can easily take time off anyhow, anytime. So I came to the realization to myself that I think by doing hair, taking it as serious, I need to take it serious because it has some good revenue, but you need to be a patient. You need to be somebody with a lot of patience. If you just get into hair just because of money, you're not going to make it. I think it's also in every other job is the thing. You need to have the love for it first, you know, before you can really take it serious. So I went to school just like my sister Winnie. I went to Marker College in 2012, and I graduated from Marker College while I was pregnant. So after I had the baby, because of that, I could not continue immediately. I had to take some time off to take care of the baby. And then after that, I went back to do my apprenticeship. and finished my apprenticeship. And then I went now to do my license, and I got my license in 2015. From that time, I worked with people, and after a while, I decided to work on my own. I decided to rent in a hair beauty supply store. So that's how I started my little. Before then, I was doing hair from home. So I realized that my clientele is growing. So by me going out, it will be well better for me. But due to COVID, COVID came, everything was shut down, and everything, it was hard, difficult to make, to make ends meet. I had to look for other jobs that, we can work while, like those frontline job. So I put my hair a little bit behind, but I still do hair even from home, because I had to close my spot at the store, because the store also was closed. So I had to close everything down. So I moved back home, but I'm still doing hair. My clients can't leave, they can't, they can't, no matter how I try to tell them, even if I try to tell them, okay, I'm going to refer you to somebody, they don't want it. So that tells you the kind of hand that the Lord have blessed me with. So,
all right.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Before we start talking about other people's hair, I'll stay with you, Grace. I don't know if you can. I know you are still at work. If you can talk, that's fine. I'll stay with you. Before we start talking about other people's hair, and then we need the same question will come to you. What can you tell us about the hair that we see on you right now?
Oh yeah, what I have on right now is called crochet braids. So crochet braids, it's not natural hair per se. It's just synthetic hair that you get them in the store, and they come already pre-looped. We call them pre-looped, which means you use a needle like you're crocheting something, but you crochet it on the hair. So what I have right now is crochet braids on my hair. Okay. So crochet braids comes for people who, if sometimes you want something different, but you don't want to sit for too long, it's good for you to do crochet braid, because it also looks sometimes like as if it's your own hair. It also looks as if it's braids that they done from the roots. So okay, that's what I'm having right now on.
Over to you, Winnie.
Yeah, thank you so much. What I'm having right now is called a weave. So it's also a human hair, like wavy in texture, that you sew it on your hair. It's not real hair, it's similar to real hair. So you sew it to your own hair and you wear it as your hair. Thank you.
Okay. And before we go ahead, I'm not sure if there is, I have a question from one of my viewers, or one of the members of the community, who wanted me to challenge any male that will be attending. So if you are a male there and you think you know hair, please raise your hand and I'll bring you in and ask the question. While we are waiting for that, it's a very simple question. They asked me the question, I failed, so I want to try with some other person. While we are waiting for any male who is out there and wants to challenge himself in hair terminology, please let us know. Now, let's go to hair texture. Going out throughout history, the black hair has been some sign of revolt, some sign of a protest. As Winnie puts it, it makes you feel good. So let's talk about hair texture. So Winnie, like some, back home, we used to abuse some people that their hair is like kucha, or your hair is so strong. How do you know black hair texture? Or what can you tell us about the black hair texture, the black women's hair and the texture, Winnie?
So if I could categorize hair, I would say we have 4 textures of hair. We have a straight hair, which you mostly find with mixed kids. They'll have this, they call it type 1. The strands of the hair are pretty straight. And we have wavy hair, which is type 2. We have curly hair, and we have kinky hair. So most of us, we could categorize ourselves into the 3rd and the 4th type of hair, which is curly and kinky. So I mean, if we take the time to look at the different categories of hair, which is 4, you will know which one you falls under. If your hair is curly, is kinky, is wavy, and then you know the characteristics of those hair, which is completely something different. So you want to know about the porosity of your hair, the density, the thickness, and the elasticity of your hair. So we'll go to that as we continue.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything to add, Grace, on the hair texture?
Just the little thing I can add on it is just black hair is more of a coarse hair, but inside black hair you also have coarse hair, you have fine hair. Fine hair means, just like she was talking about, the density and sort of the porosity. So, but with the coarse hair, you always find it mostly with those, the 3rd and the 4th category, which is the curly and the kinky. So sometimes you see somebody will come and say, well, my hair is too coarse. I don't know. What do you think I can use? Those kind of things. So just that's the only thing I can say, because sometimes people don't understand when you're talking about, some people take it just easily, say, my hair is fine, my hair is coarse, my hair is soft. So you have those things. It's the same thing that you say, but in a different, but also in different words.
Let me just stay with you, Grace. My follow-up question on this is, now we know that there are different textures of hair. Do you charge people differently? Do people have to use different methods or different material based on the texture of their hair?
Yeah, when we do hair, we go first, it's based on the texture of your hair. Secondly, based on the density. Thirdly, it's also based on what you want to do. It depends on what you're doing, because also sometimes also based on the length of what you're doing. So we go by so many things: the texture, correct, and then also the density, which means we don't know if you have a fine hair or if you have a very thick hair. And also now it's based now, once you think that you have those two, then that is what this person wants to do. If it's a braid, it's different. If it's a weave, it's different. So if it's a cornrow, so it goes now based on what the person wants to do, and also based on the length of what they're doing.
Okay. You brought up some issues here that are one we need to address. Hair texture, hair length, density. I think today is the first time I'm hearing of hair density. So we need, most African men think that women spend so much time on their hair. Can you use these terms of density and hair length to explain to a man who feels the woman takes so much time to do her hair, and to give him an idea why, say, she might spend 3 hours in a salon, for example?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think I will encourage every man to take the time, or the women, to explain to their hair, to their men, what it means to manage our hair texture. I mean, if you can understand the hair that you have, the texture that you have, you can easily explain it to the man, then you eliminate a lot of questions. For instance, and the thing that makes us waste a lot of time is the prepness of our hair. If you're going to a hair salon, for example, you're booking an appointment with me and your hair is prepped, it takes a lot of time that I'm going to use to prep your hair. When I say prep, what does that mean? It means you wash your hair, you moisturize it. Sometimes you straighten it, especially for people with very kinky hair. You stretch it out with hot comb just to facilitate the hairstylist to work with your hair. But if you don't do that, then obviously it will take a lot of time, because the hairstylists have to start from those stages. So these are things that if we explain to our man before going to the salon, the processes that we go through to do our hair, and explain to them that our hair is not a 30-minute process that we use, like how other people would use, then they'll understand and they'll not complain that it takes a lot of time or they spend a lot of money on our hair. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I'll still come back to you. It's easy to say they should prepare, because like it's not just taking time in the salon. Sometimes they take time at home and they still take time in the salon. So what's the process in the salon that takes so much time?
Actually, doing the hair itself, depending on what you want to do, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, you're coming to a hair salon, you want to do a protective hairstyle. So you're doing a hairstyle where you want it to last for, let's say, 6 weeks, right? You don't want your hair to be exposed so that you'll be able, like, you don't want your hair to be exposed. You don't want to be manipulating on your hair a lot. So by doing that, you're doing a protective hairstyle that will avoid you constantly using or putting your hands on your hair. Doing those type of style, to me, it depends. Like when you're coming to me with, for example, braids, which is one of the protective hairstyles, depending on the length and the size and like the length and the size of what you want, I will use approximately 3 to 4 hours. So imagine you coming to me to do your hair for 4 hours without your hair being prepped, which means I have to spend another, say, half an hour to wash it, half an hour to condition it, another half an hour to stretch it out. So it's less painful for you and for me, easily to manage. And then another 4 hours to do the service. So that's what it means by prepping your hair. But if you don't prep it, then if I'm using 4 hours on your hair, then you're adding additional 2 hours on it for me to prep it before doing it. So that's what.
Okay, Grace, I think Winnie used a term there that I think, is it protective hairstyle? Can you explain to us what is a protective hairstyle and why is it easy to do than other hairstyles?
Well, when she talked of protective hairstyles, she said something about, for example, a braid. Okay, you know, our hair type, it's not conducive with the climate on this part of the world. So if I leave my hair out, like, you know, somebody, like any other person, like maybe, let's say like somebody like a Canadian, somebody with a different, that even our children that are born here, their hair don't suffer the stuff that like people like us that came from home that comes here. So if I leave my hair out, the climate itself is against it. The weather, everything. So the hair will go into breakage. It will be breaking, and then at some point I will have to either chop it off or maybe try to braid. So we would use protective hairstyles to make sure to keep it safe. Because if you braid your hair stays within the braids. So it stays within the braids, then it's more protected. It's more protected than if it's out in the air.
Oh, okay. All right, I think let's move ahead. One of the issues that we see some women have is that they go to a salon and then within a couple of days or a couple of weeks, they complain about, or they are losing their hair. Why would somebody lose their hair after coming out of a salon or hairdressing studio? Winnie?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, okay. So the thing is, as people say, right, that's why it's good to be knowledgeable and to know your body and how your body works, including your hair. For instance, people will use comment like, I went to the hairdresser and my hair is breaking. What I want to say is there are a lot of things that will cause a woman or Black woman to lose her hair, or women in general. So when a client comes to me and say, oh, you did me this hairstyle and I'm losing my hair at the side, or I'm losing my hair, I will try to educate them and tell them the various things that causes hair loss. So first, you have stuff like stress. When you're stressed, your body goes into shock. If your body goes into shock, it's not only your body that feels that shock, your hair also feels the shock. So I don't really believe in that concept where people say they go to a hairdresser and they're losing their hair. I'll tell them stress, there's hormonal factors, there are medications, you know, there are genes from the family, there's aging, you know, you get to menopause. There's a certain stage in your hair where your hair stop growing. Because many people don't know that. Your hair don't grow forever. At a certain point, it stops growing. So I'll try to enlighten them on all those causes of hair loss. And I'll ask you if you fall in any category of what I just mentioned. If you say you don't fall into that category, then we'll start looking at the type of hair that you're doing. I don't always focus on the hair. I focus on the other external factors that might cause hair loss before I go to the service itself. If you don't fall in those categories, that's fine. Then let's talk about the service. What you did, if it was too tight, if it's not something that matches your hair texture, maybe it's not something that your hair can, it's something that with your hair texture, the porosity of your hair, that service cannot carry that, like it's not good for your hair type. That's why it's good to know what your hair type is, the characteristics of your hair, and then you know the type of services to do. So if you don't fall in all those categories that causes hair loss, if you've gone to your doctor and you're not in them, then we'll see how we can change the services that you're doing and see if there's an improvement. So that's what I always educate my clients. I make sure I tell them all those things. They will take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Grace, I think education is really, really important. And let's just move again and talk about educating, especially the men within their families. What are some of the things that you think we should be educating them when it comes to their sister, their mother, their daughters here? Recently, it's more about our daughters. Like, so we have a lot of men who really don't understand the hair of their daughters. What do you think they should be getting from us, or what should we men know about what information should we be out? Well, like what should we be equipped with before even going to a salon?
Well, thank you for that question. But before I answer that, I just want to add up on something also, what Winnie just said about hair breakage. Just like she was saying, it's also based on hormones. Sometimes when your hormone changes, it also affects your hair. So you have the breakage. And also sometimes it's also a follow-up on after you left the salon or after you left the wherever you did your hair, when you went home, what did you do about your hair? People don't understand also sometimes, because before when somebody leaves, I'll always advise you, based on what you do, I will always advise you, when you're at home, tie your hair down. Put a silky tie on it before you even put a hair net. Because sometimes when you put a hair net directly onto your hair gets hooked in between. When you're doing those pulling to try to adjust and fixing it, you're breaking your hair. And when you break, you don't see it. It's only when it's time for you to take it out that sometimes you have that. So sometimes also I try to educate people to make sure when you get home, when you are home, before you go to bed, get a silky tie, put it on your hair, put a hair net on it so it can stay fixed. Because I know if you put a silky tie, some people sleep like crazy. You know, some people don't sleep. They sleep when they sleep on this side of the bed, and then the next day they wake up on the other side. So what do you expect? That silky tie will fall off. But if they put a silky tie and then put now the net on it, the hair net on it to keep it on the spot, then the hair will stay. If you don't do that, also it helps your hair to break. So I just wanted to add that on it. So yeah, what men should know is that men should understand that, first of all, when a woman leaves your house and say, and talk to the husband, I'm going to do my hair, I want to go to my hair, even if you're not going to the salon, if you're just going for a friend, their person comes back always different, correct? You will look, it's a completely different person. So we all know that, as we usually say, we have this saying that they say, a woman's beauty is on her hair. You might dress up no matter how expensive you dress, but if your hair is not kept, well kept, it will not show. So we try to educate, we have to just let our men to understand that black hair is a little bit difficult to manage. So it's good to encourage, because I know sometimes some men get angry when they're seeing the mommy trying to do the daughter's hair and the daughter is crying to be like, why don't you leave that child hair? No, it's not easy to leave the child hair. Children play in the sun, play everywhere. If that sun get into that hair and that hair is kinky, is coarse, trust me, you only have to cut it off. And you don't want to see your girl child or your daughter or your sister with, you know, with a low cut. So we try to, the only thing I want our men to understand is that black hair is something that is it's difficult to manage. You only have to be patient. Some people can manage themselves, but not everybody can manage it. Some people can comb their hair just on the surface, but they will never send the comb underneath. And when they come to you, they tell you they comb it. By the time you send the comb underneath, it cannot come up because it got tangled up, it got knotted, So it's difficult. So that's the reason why most people would tend to do braids, and they come to hairdressers because then we know what to apply to put on the hair to soften it before we can comb it through. Because even if you tell them buy this softener, use it, they still do it, but the middle of the head, their hands never get through. So men should understand that it's black hair, it's a complicated thing, but when it is done, they are happy to see their wives or their daughter looking pretty. They just have to be patient with us.
All right, we have some comments, and we're about halfway through this episode. Please, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them on our chat, or you raise your hand. I'll definitely call you. My challenge is still out there for the men who are listening. Anybody who wants to try a question, please put up your hand. It's a question about hair. It's a very simple question, but unfortunately, it looks like some men don't understand it. So one of the comments we have is coming from Mimi. Well, she said great explanation. I think she's just appreciating what you people are doing. The comment she made is the net and hat is exactly what some of our men do not like to see on us. Winnie, can you tell us more about that? The issue of net and hats on the hair and why men don't like it.
I would like to ask Mimi, maybe she has an experience of why men don't like it.
Okay.
Because personally, it's more about education, right? You have to explain to them why you're wearing it. Because sometimes you wear it and they say they don't like it. You know, you have to, if you tell them why you're wearing it, the advantages and disadvantages of you wearing it, maybe they'll see with you and they'll appreciate you wearing it. Yeah.
So yeah, they just told me that there was an earlier comment from Doreen, who I think she's at work, but she's listening, and she was saying hi to everybody. Let's stay with men. There's also this issue within the, we African men, and not really African men, black men in general, and maybe even Caucasian men, going to sit in a salon and wait for your kid or your wife to do their hair is sometimes seen as a taboo. Grace, what is your experience about having men in salon? Is it something welcoming, or you prefer them to stay at home?
To be frank with you, for the few ones that I have that bring their daughters when I'm doing their hair, they are very patient. Why? Okay, for example, I'll just put two categories, correct? You have men that are very patient, that will, because they want to see their daughter looking pretty, or they accompany their wife because when they know, like a man will tell me, I don't want to just have the surprise. I want to be there to see all through, to see what goes on before she comes, because she will come to do the salon and come back after 4 hours, 5 hours. When I go to the salon to have my hair cut, it's 30 minutes and I'm back home. So I want to see the process. So when they sit down and see the process, then they understand now why it takes so long and the process and everything. And sometimes they also tend to be happy to want to learn to understand more about it. And the ones that are not patient is just that it is just a normal thing that, in life, you have people who are not patient, and you have people who are patient. Some people just want to see the after results, just that. But some people are not ready to go through that process, right? So that's how I can just categorize it. It's the same thing with birth. Some men are happy when the baby is coming from the hospital, but they're not happy to be in the hospital to see all the process before the baby comes out. So it's the same thing with hair. When it comes to hair, you have people who are ready, they want to learn. They even ask questions. I had this guy that came with his 2 children, his 2 daughters. He always bring them to me. He was so curious. He asked me, why is it that her hair is so hard? When I'm trying to comb it, it's so hard. I said, no, it's because when you're combing it, you're not combing it in the right way. I said, first, when you take her the hair, I show him a product because he wanted to know so he can try to do it. And I really love to see men when they're trying to do their daughter's hair. Trust me, it is really like, it's good. It makes you feel good that this man wants to really understand what the daughter's hair looks like. He will ask me to show him the product. I will give him a softener. I say, when you take this hair out, put a softener. And when you're combing the hair, don't comb it from the root. Comb it from the ends. You start from the end. You have to make sure the ends are loose. As you comb, you go down before you get to the root. That way, by the time you get up, everything is. So if you take it from the root, it's gonna go knotted, and it will be difficult for you to finish, and then you feel frustrated. And the day he did it, he came back to me in the salon with he was so happy. And the daughter was telling me, my dad did my hair. It was so soft. She was happy. So I would just encourage our men sometimes to be patient and trying to encourage and trying to want to know about that, because when you know, then you understand it. Just like you were asking the question about the reason why some men don't like us putting the tie and the
net and
the
the hat.
nets. Yeah, they don't like it because some men like to pass their hand through their, the hair to feel it and understand it. But just like my sister said, if you explain to them the reason why you putting the net on that hair, you give them what is the reason for the reason that you're doing it. Then when they understand it, then they'll like it. Because I will ask you, would you be happy to see my hair done nicely today and tomorrow the hair is not good anymore? Will you be ready for me to go back to the salon? Would you want me to spend that kind of money? If I keep it like this, it will stay longer for me. And then at least when I'm going out, you like my hair. So yeah, those are the kind of things, sir.
Okay, I think the comment section has been a bit active, so I'll just go there and try to address some of the comments. So so we have, I think this one now is more of a question from Mimi again. My greatest challenge with going to the salon for me is that I've had my hair handled really roughly, painful, and I had to take it off when I got back home. Winnie, maybe you address this. It's two-part question. The second part is there a correlation between great hairstyle, which is braiding, and tightness, especially for people with a sensitive scalp?
Yeah, so thank you, Mimi, for that question. So personally, I don't see any reason why people think a great hairstyle. I don't abide in that principle. I don't agree in it. I used to see those very tight hairstyles, especially when I was back home. So I feel like it's more about communication. When you sit on the chair and a customer, remember, that person doing your hair, you are a client, right? Somebody's doing a service on your hair. You have to share your opinion, your experience. Once you're doing the hair, you should be able to communicate it to say, you know what, this is too tight. I don't want it too tight. Nevertheless, some people will feel comfortable when they get home. That's when they feel the pain. I understand that. But that's part of the reason why you will have breakage too. So seriously, if you feel like your hair is very sensitive, you have to communicate that with the hairdresser before you even get there. While booking your appointment, you let them know you have a very sensitive scalp and your hair is very fragile. Like if it's tight, you're going to have breakage, headache. It comes with a lot of stuff. So that communication at the initial stage, it really matters a lot. And then going to the process of actually doing it, you have to make sure you communicate. Some people just sit on their phones. When you're done, they're like, it's too tight. No, you say it from the beginning. Say it when you get home. Communicate with the hairdresser to tell them how you feel, because these are some of the things that discourage people from going to the hair salon, so that they know that you can't do it tight. Some people like it tight. They believe that tightness makes it last longer. Some people don't like it tight. They don't care how long it lasts. They just want to be comfortable with their hair. Some people can bear their pain. People's pain level is different, right? So it's all about you as an individual knowing your level of pain, when you can tolerate it, knowing how your hair feels after that pain, then you get a good service. That's all I can say regarding that.
Mimi, your hand is up. You can unmute yourself if you want to turn on your video. That's okay. If you don't want to, that's fine. And please let us know what you have to contribute.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate the input, and I just wanted to add that I guess it was I think it was just a high level of really poor customer service, because as Winnie was explaining, I had like flashbacks as to how it all happened, because initially I told the lady that I have really sensitive scalp, and her response was that would have been a red flag for me to just walk away, because her response was very, very unprofessional. She went on to ask me, oh, you're a woman, do you have kids? Have you had children? The pain is not as compared to childbirth. And she went on to say, oh, if you do not have children, then you should be prepared. Like, this is a prep for you to, like, so it wasn't like, you understand where I'm going with that, right? But the conversation was very unprofessional, and she had no concern or regard for the fact that I had like very low tolerance to pain. So I guess I would love to have a positive experience in one of our salons. I'm still looking forward to that. I hope I can schedule an appointment with one of you ladies, and so at least so I can have like a different experience based on like a more positive experience based on what you're saying, because like both of you sound really positive and knowledgeable about what you're doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This is what this platform is about. We bring people who are knowledgeable. Grace, I saw you shaking your head and sometimes laughing and sometimes making a sorry face. What do you think about customer service in the hair industry?
Yeah, I was so like, I just want to stop Mimi. Don't talk already on. I feel your pain. Mimi, I'm very sorry that you had to go through that. That was really a red flag for you. You could have, once you would have heard those kind of response, it should have been a red flag for you to just say, you know what, I think I'm just going to rebook it because I'm not prepared for the pain. I can take it Tylenol, I'll come back, I'll rebook it. Just take it, do it like that, and then just leave. But you know what, it's also in another way, in as much as I'm not happy that you had to go through that, but it will give you an opportunity to appreciate when you meet somebody else that will really do your hair in the way that you want, because customer service is very key. I don't know if you guys have heard this expression when they say hairstylists are the most important counselors. We don't just do only the hair. So it's part of our customer service skills. It's like we are counseling people. Because people come to her to do their hair. It's just not about hair. It's extended from hair. They start telling you things that they go about. You become a counselor without even knowing it. So if you don't have the good customer skills with you, you can't be a counselor. So probably that person that did your hair, Mimi, was just somebody who did it just for the money, for fun. The person who did it just to get the money, like I was saying in the beginning, if you're doing hair for money, trust me, you're not going to stay in the business. But if you have the passion for it, you want to do it, no matter how, you're going to stay. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah, I just also to add to that, I think you brought up a right point, especially the two of you who have actually gone to school and studied this, and you know what you are doing. I would have never have attributed stress to condition of hair or hormone changes to condition of hair. And it's good to have knowledgeable people like you to sit here, and so that even if somebody is paying for a hair to be done, they should understand they're not just getting a hair. It's a whole lot more. And I don't think our community understands that. Let me go back to the comment. It is so difficult to keep our hair soft. I mean, our natural hair. Please, any advice on how to keep our hair soft, or any product that tolerates our hair really well? I mean, type 4C hair. Winnie, you have any idea?
Yes. So my idea is based on experience. I've seen people with type 4C hair that have walked through their hair and it becomes type 3 or type 2. So based on my experience, I know that sometimes we don't really know how to handle our hair, how to wash it, how to put oil there, and how to, condition it. So one thing I know and I've learned about our hair texture is the stretching. There's something about stretching your hair. You don't just, it's a whole topic on its own, how to wash your hair. So you don't just wash your hair, condition it, towel blow dry it. You have to stretch your hair. If you take that method, even back home where they used to do the thread stretching, if you stretch your hair continuously, the texture is going to change. So one thing I'll advise is using natural oils. If you have olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, those things, when you sit at home, put the oil on your hair and stretch it. You could use 40 to 45 minutes, 1 hour stretching your hair. You know, wash it, stretch it. You see, when you stretch it continuously with those oils, natural oils, you see that the texture of your hair will gradually change. It's not even, that's something that I've experienced. I've done it to people. I even use clay, just this clay that we buy at the hair store. You put it on your hair and you stretch it. 4C texture of hair can become a 3 texture, or 3C texture by stretching it. So when you're washing your hair, make sure, because our hair, they have this elasticity level where, you know, it curves back to its original position. So stretching that length and those curves kind of make it easier for you to manage. And sectioning it, you know, it's a whole lot, but we have to, honestly speaking, if you know how to handle your hair, it'll be so easy. You have to section your hair in 4 or 6 sections, wash it nicely, stretch it out for like 40, 45 minutes. If you do that at least once a month, you'll find it very easy to handle your hair. So that's just all I can say about, because that's the most difficult thing that we face, detangling our hair. That's why most people end up frustrated and they go cut it. People come here with nice, thick, black, natural hair. Before 1 year, their hair is short. They cut it, they go back. They don't cut it because they like short hair. Some people cut it out of frustration because they don't know how to handle it. So one thing you need to learn is detangling your hair. You could detangle your hair to a level where you don't need a blow dryer. Your hair just naturally gets soft just by using. And I personally, I don't believe in a lot of product in our hair, because I've done a statistics studies where I've done a client for 3 years, and that client came back and did sister locks from me. And in 3 years, I compare the 3 years that I've been doing the client's hair with different styles and the 3 years that the clients have been with sister locks. The length tremendously changes. That sister lock was like from these inches to like long to the shoulder. I'm telling you the truth, in 3 years. But this is somebody I've been doing it in 3 years, and you could not see how that hair is growing. There was nothing like, you keep saying, I don't see how my hair grew, but with these sister locks, it was growing. Why? Because there was not a lot of manipulation when the hair was in sister locks. No, like I asked her, so what are you doing? Nothing. I just wash my hair and I go. So why is your hair growing when you just wash it and go? As compared to when you were doing all the products, all those things that you put in your hair. One thing we need to know is our hair, our scalp itself have pores. When you put all those products, you don't know where they're coming from. They lock your pores and your hair doesn't grow. You find people with natural hair that have locks, it goes up to their knee. You need to ask why. Why is it growing that long? Meanwhile, when it's natural and curly, you don't see it growing because they just let it be. Sometimes we just need to let our hair be. Just watch it, stretch it. It needs stretching. Our texture needs stretching. Stretch it with natural oils. And that's it. You don't need to put oil on your scalp. Okay. You don't need to. Yeah.
All right. Let's. We have about just over 10 minutes to round up. Again, I had a challenge for the men. Nobody has come up. So I will say the question, and if you know the answer, please put your hand up. This is only for the men who are listening. The question to me was what is...
I have a question. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to ask this, Valerie. I want to ask why at times I see some ladies with very beautiful hair, but they still keep on wearing, putting on a wig. I don't know why I see some of our girls and ladies with very beautiful hair, but they want to believe that the artificial hair is the best. I want to know, is there really something there that that ties them to using artificial hair instead of maintaining their natural hair?
Okay.
Because I don't know. Yeah. That's really
Thank you for the question. But before they answer the question, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you know what is a bonnet?
Well, you're asking to the girl?
No, to Valerie. Do you know what is a bonnet?
Yeah, I think that bonnet is something that they wear on their hair to hold their hair.
Is that true? Because that was a question that they asked me, and I said it was a part of a car, and everybody started laughing.
No, what they call bonnet. I think they hold when they want to sleep, they fix their hair, and then maybe they hold it so that it doesn't fall off or it doesn't get scattered.
If that is true, then you've just won $50 because somebody gave $50 to say any man who answers that question should get the $50.
Oh wow!
Grace, yeah. Grace, is that a correct answer? Winnie, you can go ahead. Is yeah. Valerie's answer of a bonnet the correct answer?
It's the correct answer.
Okay, so you have $50. I'll transfer your $50.
Thank you.
And okay, Winnie, now you can answer Valerie's question. At least you defended us the men. Thank you so much, Valerie.
So, I just want to say that women wearing wig is individualized. People have their various reasons why they wear wigs. Based on my experience with wig wearing, most people it's about maintenance. People think with the texture of hair, they have nice hair, yes, but how do you maintain that hair? How do you make that hair look decent for you to work with? The fact that you have nice hair doesn't mean you just move with it like that. You need some level of maintenance. That's what people they don't have that time doing. And that's the reply they give to me. Some people don't just have the time to maintain their own hair. Some people is their comfort level. Some people are not comfortable wearing their hair. So it's all based on individual, preference, what they want. So that's why some people will naturally embrace their own hair. I have a lot of people that comes from me just to maintain their natural hair. They don't like extension, no matter what type. So I feel these are some of the reasons that I get. I don't have time to manage my hair. I don't have time to comb it out when I get up in the morning just to wash it, keep it nice for me to go to work. It's a lot of time, but with wig, I just wear it and go, come back, take it off. Some people, I don't like the way my hair looks. So it's just based on individual, if I can say. Thank you.
All right, let's focus a bit on cost. Before
let me add a little bit, please. Sorry, I just want to add a little bit also to that. But what I just wanted to add to that is, yes, minus the time, also adding to the time management. Sometimes with our own natural hair, let's say if you're somebody that sweats a lot, correct? If you sweat a lot, you wouldn't want to take your own natural hair out. Why? Because let's say you do your hair now, you stretch it just like she was saying, and you want to just take your own natural hair out. When you start to sweat, once the sweat gets into it, the hair gets back to its natural stage, which means it shrinks back and gets curly back. So then it becomes difficult for you to maintain that style that was on it. So sometimes that's the reason. Like I have a client that I did her hair for a long time. And then one time I just said, listen, I want you to enjoy your hair, just your own hair for now. I stretch your hair, I curl it and do everything. I did not put no product. I only just stretch it, use a straightener to straighten it and curl it for her. She went home. Her husband was like, so you have this type of beautiful hair like this, and every day you go and put this thing on your head. And then she asked the husband, do you know how hard it is for me to maintain my own hair? But the thing is, I told her, I say, make sure no drop of water touches your hair. Because once the drop of water touches your hair, it gets back to its natural stage and you would not even want to see it. So, and she was able to keep her hair for 2 weeks. The husband didn't want her to do what she used to do. She said, no, I have to do it to cover it. If I don't do it, then I cannot. It's hard for me to maintain it. It's mostly the maintenance and the time factor.
All right, I wanted to go to cost, but I'll just shift it because you brought up the issue of rain, of water touching the hair. And one of my questions that I had is, Why is it that women are so scared of water or rain or whatever to touch their hair? Grace, answer that, and then we'll go to cost, and then we'll round up.
One of the main reasons is just like I said, that if your hair is out and straight and everything, rain falls into it, it goes back to the natural state. You don't want water to touch it. The second reason is if you have an extension on your hair and you let rain or water go into the hair, it will get dry, but because of the sweat, that the oil that your glands produces, your hair also produces hair oil. So when it mixes with sweat and the other water that was it will smell. It starts to smell. So then you don't want to walk. You can't, even if you sleep close to your man, he's going to be complaining. What is smelling? It's your hair, because the mixture of oil that is in your hair plus your sweat plus the rain that came in, and then even though it dries up, and then after a while it also goes and make like a white I forgot how we used to call it. It will make this white knot at the bottom of the hair. When you take it out now, sometimes because of that, if you spray your hair while you know that because it rained on it and then it dries up, you spray. It causes also hair, it gives you dandruff, and then the hair will start to be itchy and all those type of things. That's why we avoid rain to go on our hair.
Okay, so let's talk about cost briefly. I'm just going to ask one question and both of you can answer, and then we'll round up. So now, what is the cost of doing a good hair, say for a kid, and what is the difference for an adult? And try to give us some numbers. Let us be rational. And maybe there are some men here, Christmas is coming. Instead of buying a goat, they might decide to do their women's hair. Or so Winnie, what's the cost? What are we looking at when we're talking of cost? Valerie, your hand is still up. I don't know if you have a follow-up to your question. If it's a follow-up, then please go ahead before we get into cost.
Yes, no, it's a question. I just wanted to, from what our other hairdresser there said, Grace, about water, when you asked about the question of water, no, they are afraid of water touching their hair. As she said, she's right. Medically and scientifically, the body produces oil, and especially the caps of that hair, that oil that is called sebum. And that's why we men, we are not afraid for water to touch our hair, because when we take our bath with our hair. Right? We start from the head. So we wash our head, that body oil, that sebum comes out. So the women, since they don't wash their hair every day, that oil is there, as Grace said, which is correct. And when water touches it and you don't wash it with soap, it smells. Now, my question is this. Is there any hairstyle, nice hairstyle that you can propose to a woman to put on, which can enable her wash her hair every day? Because to me, even that fact of not washing the hair every day, or at least once in 2 days, is not hygienic. Because some people keep their hair, especially when they apply this rasta, they don't wash it at times for a month. It's not as, imagine that oil coming out for a month and you don't wash it. It's not hygienic. That's why, as he said, yes, even if you don't wash it, or even water doesn't touch it, you leave your hair for 2 weeks, 1 month without washing it, it will smell because of that oil.
All right.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yes, Dr. Valerie. There are styles that even with the braids, people can still wash their hair, but this is the issue that I'm telling you. If you have braids in your hair, you can still wash your hair. But when you wash your hair, no matter how you think that you wash it clean, it is never clean. You know why? Because that oil, that sebum that you call, and the sweat, with it makes a residue and goes and be on the bottom of the braids. So then when the time comes for the person to take it out, it breaks their hair because it's dry, it's tight on the hair, except if you have to spray. And some people are not patient to take out their hair. So we also have something that is called dry shampoo. Dry shampoo is what sometimes people also, you can use for somebody who want to wash their hair. They use dry shampoo. You spray it on your hair, or you put it in your hair, and then you rinse. You can let your hair go dry off. Or sometimes you can also wash it and then dry it off. So you avoid that smell. So you can still wash it, but the thing is the after effect after the washing. And trust me, it is still not clean. Because once you wash it once, the residue will always stay in within the braid. Because remember, your braiding is like you're twisting. So you understand that you cannot twist something and you think that because you rinse it, it's clear. There's always something in between the knots there. The twist that will turn out now to make a knot after.
All right.
So they can. We always advise. So I always advise people, if you feel like you want to, just use a dry shampoo. It's like a spray. You can just spray it on your hair. It makes your hair feel nice, like you just like it's washed. It's better like that. Then it doesn't keep the smell.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think unfortunately we're up with time. We're not going to be able to discuss the issue with cost. But if you want to know the cost, definitely you can reach out to Winnie or Grace. I have put out again links to Perspective Nation YouTube channel as well as our WhatsApp group. I will encourage everybody to check our channel, share some of the videos. They are really, really educative. I've had some comments from some organizations that they want to be using some of the videos during their meetings, which is very encouraging. I'm also just going to make a couple of announcements. One of them is that one of our own, J-Boy, is having a live concert tomorrow. I've put the link there. If you want to buy a ticket, please do, and let's go support our own. There are elections coming up. I'm going to put the link of those that I have who are running. Please make copies of that or take a picture and share with your network. If you can go to this website and contribute or join them in their campaign, it will be much appreciated. And finally, Council of Nigerian Professionals is having a 3-day event known as Power of Inclusion. And I'm going to as well post the link so that those who want to join can register right now. There are the first 2 days is just going to be a virtual events. And you can definitely register ahead of time so that you have your spot on the Zoom platform. Again, I want to thank everybody who took part in this discussion. So Barbara, Doreen, Godliness, Mafwa, Mimi, Tokos, Valerie, and definitely Grace and Winnie. And before we round this up, I'll start with you, Winnie. Can you please give us a last word, and then Grace, you will tell us the last word, and I will stop the recording. Thank you.
So thank you so much for listening. I'll just end by giving some blackhair tips for everyday care of your hair. So as we were saying, try to wash your hair at least once a week. Use conditioner. Try to use hot oil treatment at least twice a month, and try to practice stretching your hair. And then, study your hair texture, know the type of hair that suits your hair, and try to communicate with your hairdressers. Thank you.
Grace, last comment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity that you're giving us to come and talk about a little bit of what we do and what makes us happy. I hope that the little that we have the opportunity to share here will go a long way. So if you need more, you can always reach out to us, as Mr. Fonge just said. And we just encourage everybody to please try to learn to know your hair. Just as you take care of your skin, it's the same way you should take care of your hair. Your skin, if you take a shower, you don't cream your body, it will get dry, flaky, itchy. So it's the same thing with your hair. The same way, the same treatment you give to your skin, give the same treatment to your hair. So when you wash your hair, please be patient with your hair. Take good care of your hair. You will enjoy your hair. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think I have much to say. The contact numbers for Grace and Winnie on the chat. Please, if you need any more information, reach out to them. Again, thank you very much for being so gracious and volunteering to give us this information. I believe all of us have learned more than enough. And we hope to continue this conversation in our homes and in our community. Thanks everybody for attending. Have a good night.